and a lot of the English language that, they weren't able to do when they were maybe at level 1 or even level 2.
Okay, the standard I will be talking about is standard 3. Just to piggyback off of what Aaron was discussing, in the math section, it will be the 4 basic levels: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But for example, I will talk about the metric and standard units of measurement. As you see, if a student is coming in and entering on level 1, you will name the tools and units of the standard or metric measurements from labeled examples. With that being said, you will learn inches or centimeters or pounds or kilos. And as the year goes on or the semester, you would like to see the student progress. So that as this unit can go by fast, you can go in the beginning level, which is level 2, and you kind of understand a little bit more, and you estimate the standard or metric measurement from pictures or real objects, and you understand the dog weighs this amount or I weigh this amount, and that can help from pounds to kilos. But when you get to level 3 and level 4, you're trying to use them in real life situations. For example, in level 3, you will describe a real life situation and use the measurements as needed. In level 4, you will talk about the same thing, but on a larger scale. So you can kind of use it in everyday language. And in level 5, which is basically the level that everybody wants their students to get to, you explain how or when to convert these standards when you're using recipes, temperatures, conversions from pounds to kilos, and etc. So during the mathematics section, you can see it works hand in hand as the beginning to the end and try to make it where the students are progressing at a great level.
All right, so looking at science here, science, they've got they can either be the easiest class for an EL student, or it can be the hardest class for an EL student. And the reason is because I know a lot of science teachers will tell you this, it's very much dependent on vocabulary. I mean, you've got a lot of just multi-syllabic words that don't make a lot of sense to us lay people, and then to throw in that language barrier, that can be an extra challenge. But the part that science does have, the advantage science does have, is it's a lot of visual and a lot of hands-on stuff and a lot of ways that you can put a picture and a word together or a concept. So if you look in here, especially like talking about, climate temperature change, starting here down at the bottom, you're looking at charts or graphs. And again, you're looking at numbers. And I've heard, other math teachers say this before, that, numbers don't know a language. Numbers are the same, whether you're talking Spanish or English or whatever. So, anytime you can use numbers or graphs, that's a good thing. But then as it moves up, it's, state differences in temperature over time from charts. So you can see as you keep going, if you go all the way to you're still looking at charts and graphs. So you've still got that visual representation, and it's not just words on a page. And I mean, even looking at something like natural disasters, that's something you can just turn on the news and get an understanding of that. So science kind of lends itself to actually being a little kind of ELL friendly with a lot of the visuals that you can see.
Okay, so the last subject is social studies. So again, we've got 4 areas: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And this is, again, grades 6 through 8. So we've got the 4 sections: maps, civil wars, economic trends, and ancient medieval civilization. So I think, like Chris was saying, with science, there's a lot of visual and graphics and numbers. I think social studies is not always that graph friendly and picture friendly. So I think there's a lot of vocabulary the students have to know, a lot of reading comprehension that has to be done at this level. So these standards would should come in a lot of help to teachers who are teaching the social studies framework. So for example, let's look at maps. So maps are great so that we have that visual aspect. So at level 1, and a student at the entering level would be able to identify locations of land and water masses. And that could even be done orally. We don't necessarily have to just read the instructions. That can be done from a teacher asking the students to identify these things on a map. As we go through the levels, not only could they locate land or water masses, but they may be able to work with a partner. So a little bit more communication going on there. Level 3, they would be able to identify specific geographic locations. So they might talk about time zones, latitude, longitude. So as you can see, as they go through the levels, the vocabulary gets a lot more in depth, and the vocabulary that they're expected to use gets a lot longer. That list gets a lot longer. Still talking about maps at level 4. So we're looking at comparing and contrasting. So again, a lot higher level of understanding to be able to do that, to be able to use the English language to do that. And then hopefully if we were to get to level 5 with a student, they would be able to evaluate locations on maps for different purposes. So the example that they give you here is, show me the best city in Asia to do whatever. So that means they're going to have to use a lot more of the English language to really discuss about a specific area rather than just identifying the location.
All right, for the final activity, what we'd like you guys to do is kind of talk about some things that you've picked up over from this presentation. So if you notice, everybody on your desk, on your table, you've got some questions and you've got some headbands. So go ahead and pick somebody to be the guinea pig, and don't worry about it. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to do this, and everybody's going to get to wear the headband. So if you put the headband on, put the question on there, and then you guys take turns, everybody answering the question. Also, if we could get somebody to act as a scribe to kind of jot down some of these answers, so maybe if we've got time, we could kind of share out. But we want to know, what have you learned during this PD? What are some different methods you learned today? Hopefully you picked up something that you can bring back to your classroom. And how do you plan to implement this new strategy? So let's go ahead and take, what do you guys think, about 5-10 minutes to do this? And then hopefully we can get some time to share out at the end.
Okay, to finish up, the references we used were the PDF from WIDA. We used our textbook from class. We also used the Access Online for the Access test. That is a WIDA document. We used nursery rhymes that we basically learned from elementary as well. We looked up Teachers Pay Teachers, which is a website that a lot of teachers use to conduct different ideas and bounce ideas off of each other. And last but definitely not least, we use Pinterest because it's also like a vision board for teachers, and we bounced ideas off of each other to use this for our professional development.
And then don't forget to click the link at the bottom of this slide to complete the session evaluation.